Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Intan Ilham Amera binti Bahari, and today I want to present about pipeline transportation. First thing first, let me introduce you. What is pipeline transportation? Pipeline transportation provides a continuous and efficient flow of oil, gas, and water over long distance. It's operated 24 hours 7 with lower energy consumption and minimal disruption from the weather and also the traffic. It considered the safest and the most cost-effective method for transporting uniform commodities. It uses pressurized system and pumping station to maintain steady delivery. In Malaysia, Petronas Peninsular Gas Utilization PGU network spans over 2,623 km with a capacity of 3,500 million standard cubic feet daily. Malaysia is advancing pipeline development through the National Energy Transition Roadmap (NETR), and the key initiatives include hydrogen blending, carbon capture project, and also the Rosemary Marjoram offshore pipeline in Sarawak. These developments support national energy security and the transition towards a lower carbon future. Okay, now I'll explain about the characteristic of pipeline transportation. I'll explain 5 characteristics, which is the first one is continuous operation. We all know that pipelines operate 24 hours 7 with minimum human intervention to ensure a stable supply of resources through network in Malaysia PGU system. The second one is pipeline is high volume capacity. Pipeline transport massive amount of oil, gas, and water daily. It support facilities such as Pengerang Integrated Complex (PIC) while reducing road congestion. The third one is high initial but lower operating costs. Through pipeline construction, it requires high capital investment, but long-term operating costs are lower due to automation and energy efficient. The fourth one is commodity specificity. Pipelines are designed for specific materials such as natural gas and cannot easily transport other commodities without costly modification. So the last one is underground and subsea infrastructure. Most Malaysia pipelines are built underground or subsea for safety and environmental protection, but maintenance requires advanced technology and expertise. Now, let's us all move to the advantages and disadvantages of pipeline transportation. So now, first, let me talk about the advantages. We have 4 advantages of pipeline transportation. The first one is it provides a continuous and reliable flow of resources without interaction of the traffic and also the weather. So we all know that the advantages and the characteristics are quite similar, which is the advantages of the pipeline, they work 24 hours 7 without considering the weather and also the traffic congestion. The second one is low operating costs and high efficiency, which we already talked in the characteristic. Although the construction of pipeline requires a large initial investment, but the operational costs are relatively low because once the system is established, it doesn't need any money for the investment anymore. So the third one is highly energy efficient compared to other transportation method. It consumes less fuel and produces lower carbon emission per ton kilometers. So the last one is enhanced safety when transporting hazardous material. Since many pipelines are installed underground or subsea, the risk of accidents such as spills and leaks are lower compared to road and maritime transport. I'll explain about disadvantages of pipeline transportation. We have 5 in total. The first one, the disadvantages of pipeline transportation is it high capital investment because of the construction itself and the process, land acquisition, and also installation of safety system is extremely expensive. That makes why pipeline transportation is high capital investment, which is lead to the disadvantages of this transportation. The second one is inflexibility. Why we said so? Because it is specifically designed to transport only one commodity at one time, such as gas, oil, or water, which limits their versatility compared to other transport systems. The third one is leakage and environmental risk that may cause serious damage to both nature and human life. Problems such as corrosion, operational fault, and illegal tapping can lead to spills and also explosion of the pipeline transportation. So the fourth one is security and safety concerns associated with pipeline transportation. Pipelines are vulnerable to sabotage, theft, and vandalism because many of them are located in a remote area or isolated area that are difficult to control and monitor all the time. So the last one, we have regulatory cross-border complexity. because particularly for pipelines that pass through multiple states and countries. So now I'll talk about the infrastructure and also network of pipeline transportation in Malaysia. So, the pipeline network in Malaysia transport natural gas, water and petrochemical product across different regions. The Petronas Gas Berhad Peninsula Gas Utilization PGU system is one of the Malaysia's biggest pipeline network. Commissioned in 1984 and expanded through 4 phases to meet increasing energy demand. Transport processed natural gas from Ketereh, Terengganu to major demand centers in Peninsular Malaysia. Covers approximately 2,500 kilometers in capacity 2,000 million standard cubic per day. It connected to states such as Terengganu, Pahang, Selangor, Negeri Sembilan, Johor and also Penang. The supplies goes to Tenaga Nasional Berhad TNB, power plant and also industrial zone including Pasir Gudang, Gebeng and Shah Alam. It also linked to the Singapore Gas Transmission System (SGTS) for gas export activities. The Sabah Sarawak Gas Pipeline (SSGP) is 512 kilometers pipeline connecting Kimanis, Sabah to Bintulu, Sarawak. It also support LNG processing and domestic gas supply in Malaysia. Faced technical security challenges due to the remote terrain condition. The Trans-Sabah Gas Pipeline TSGP was planned to connect Kimanis Sandakan and Tawau through 500 kilometers pipeline. The project was delayed due to the terrain difficulties and high costs and currently still under review. Malaysia also operates water and petrochemical pipeline system. The Langat 2 water supply project uses 67 kilometers pipeline to supply treated water between Selangor and Negeri Sembilan. The Kerteh Gebeng petrochemical pipeline transport ethylene, propylene and naphtha between industrial complexes. These pipeline systems support Malaysia infrastructure growth, industrial development and continuous resources transportation. Now, let us talk about the policies and regulation related to the pipeline transport. So, for the policies and regulation related to pipeline transport, the Petroleum Development Act 1974, PDA, grants Petronas exclusive right to explore, develop and transport petroleum resources in Malaysia, regulates pipeline construction and operating, while ensuring environment and safety compliance. The Gas Supply Act 1993, Amendment 2016, regulate the gas supply industry and third-party access TPA to pipeline infrastructure. The Gas Supply Licensing Regulation 2017 promotes open access, competition and reliable gas distribution. Now we'll talk about national energy and environmental policy. The National Nationality Energy Transition Roadmap (NETR 2023) aims to decarbonize Malaysia's energy sectors by 2050. Encourage the use of pipeline for hydrogen transport and carbon capture and storage (CCUS). Support the reuse of existing pipeline for low carbon fuels. The Environmental Quality Act 1974 (EQA) requires environmental impact assessment (EIA) for a major pipeline project. The Occupational Safety of Health (CIMAH) regulation ensures safety management, emergency response, and staff training for hazardous operation. Now, we'll talk about new pipeline policy. Malaysia is strengthening the pipeline safety, transparency, and also infrastructure manufacturing. New policy includes stricter quality, standard and mandatory inspection. The Pipeline Accountability Portal provide a real-time updates on disruption and also leakage. Stricter building regulation near pipeline areas are introduced to reduce safety risk. Now we'll talk about the pipeline policies, which is it focus on improving accountability, efficiency, and reliable on-water distribution. Policies aim to reduce non-revenue water losses through stricter inspection and transparent reporting, real-time updates on leakage rates, and repair progress, improve infrastructure management. Lastly, we'll talk about gas pipeline policy, which emphasizes stricter safety standard, inspection, and risk prevention measures. Authorized enforced buffer zone, and stricter urban planning near gas pipeline. New legal framework are introduced to prevent pipeline fire incident, such as what happened in Putra Heights, and also the third-party access, which is TPA system, allows multiple entities to access gas facilities, promoting competition and also stable gas supply. Okay, now I'll talk about the issue related to the pipeline transportation. Pipelines leakage can happen due to corrosion, aging pipeline, equipment failure, and poor maintenance. Leakage may pollute river, soil, and nearby residential area. Gas pipeline accident can cause fire, explosion, toxic gas exposure, injuries, and property damage. Supply disruption may affect industry and Malaysia energy sector. Urban development near pipeline routes increase safety risk. Construction, housing, and illegal excavation can damage underground pipeline. Weak monitoring system and low public awareness make accident harder to prevent. Malaysia tropical climate, heavy rainfall, flooding, humidity accelerate pipeline corrosion and deterioration. Offshore pipeline face seawater corrosion and difficult maintenance condition. Pipeline maintenance and infrastructure upgrades involve high costs. Companies must invest in technologies such as leak detection and pressure monitoring system. Regular inspection, maintenance, and emergency response plans are important for the safety. Companies must comply with the Gas Supply Act 1993 and Environmental Quality Act 1974. Failure to comply may lead to the legal penalties, environmental damage, and also public criticism. Stronger safety enforcement, better monitoring, effective maintenance, and proper urban planning are needed for a long-term pipeline sustainability in Malaysia. Let's move to the stakeholder for the pipeline transportation. We all know government agencies such as Ministry of Transport MOT, Energy Commission DOSH, and DOE regulate pipeline safety, environmental protection, and also operational system. Major operators like Petronas and Gas Malaysia manage pipeline operation, maintenance, monitoring system, and also infrastructure development, while consumers and industry rely on pipelines for a stable supply of natural gas, petroleum products, and electricity generation. Environmental groups monitor environmental impacts such as oil spill, gas leakage, pollution, and deforestation caused by pipeline activities. The community organization and local residents near pipeline area raise concern about safety risk, land use, and environmental protection. Cooperation among government agency, operators, consumer, environmental groups, and communities is essential to ensure safe, efficient, and sustainable pipeline transport in Malaysia. Lastly, I'll talk about the case study Putra Heights gas pipeline explosion in Selangor in the year of 2026. So what is the background of the case? Putra Heights gas pipeline explosion in Selangor in the year of 2026 is a major example of issue in Malaysia pipeline transportation sector. The incident involved gas pipeline located near residential area and urban development areas. The explosion caused massive fire, gas supply disruption, property damage, and public safety concern. What is the interaction between components and also the stakeholder in this case study? So the component involved is the gas pipeline infrastructure itself, leak detection and monitoring system, emergency response system, urban development and residential area, and also environmental protection system. Who is the stakeholder involved? The government agencies such as MOT, DOSH, DOE, and the Energy Commission investigated the incident and enforced safety regulation. Petronas and gas operators manage pipeline maintenance, inspection, and restoration of gas supply service. Emergency services, including firefighters, police, and medical teams, handle evacuation and rescue operation. Local residents were affected through property damage, evacuation, and also emotional distress, while the environmental groups monitored pollution risk and environmental impact. What is the impact of this case study on the efficiency and effectiveness of pipeline transportation? The explosion disrupted gas supply and affected industrial and public energy usage. Emergency shutdown reduced the efficiency of the pipeline itself, of their operation. The reparation and also restoration work increased operational and maintenance costs. Public confidence to the transportation. The case highlighted the importance of efficient monitoring system and rapid emergency response. What is the issue and also challenges faced in this case study? Rapid urban development near pipeline routes increased the safety risk. Weak buffer zone between pipelines and residential area exposed community to the hazards. Aging infrastructure, corrosion, and equipment failure created risk of leakage and also explosion. Difficulties in monitoring underground pipeline delayed early detection of the problem. Emergency reports coordination between agencies and operating was challenging during the crisis. Environmental concerns include air pollution, heat emission, and also potential ecosystem damage. So, all in all, the Putra Height explosion demonstrates the complex relationship between the infrastructure system and the stakeholders in Malaysia pipeline transportation sector. This case emphasizes the importance of strong safety, regulation, proper urban planning, regulate maintenance, and advanced monitoring technology and effective emergency response system. So, cooperation among government agencies, operators, environmental groups, and local communities is essential to ensure safe, efficient, and sustainable pipeline transportation in Malaysia. So, that's all from me. I hope all of you guys understand the presentation about the pipeline transportation that I just delivered. Thank you.